Ladies and gentlemen, if there is anything that we consistently, reliably strive to deliver on this program, it is hard-hitting, in-depth coverage of the world of stock car racing. Wait, that's not right. In fact, I don't think we've ever done a segment on stock car racing or any other type of motorsport for that matter, because motorsports is an internally self-contradictory term. And call me nitpickingly pedantic if you must, you won't be the first. But in my book, and Jim Eagle will back me up on this, if there is an internal combustion engine involved, then sorry, that ain't a sport. Now that's not to cast aspersions on anybody who happens to enjoy, for reasons that are alien to this reporter, spending a Sunday afternoon watching a bunch of good old boys turning left several hundred times in a row and occasionally crashing into a blazing inferno of despair, while being serenaded by cacophonous engine noises and smelling the lovely aromatic bouquet of gasoline and motor oil and tobacco juice, because for millions of my countrymen and women, that is their number one leisure activity. And more power to them, I say. Just don't call it a sport. And yes, as you may have ascertained from that lead-in, I did attend an auto race once, and that was about enough. In fact, it was probably more than enough, but I digress. The point I'm getting at here is, we need to talk about NASCAR. And there's a sentence I never pictured myself saying, but up until about 5 minutes ago, in the grand pantheon of nauseating left-wing activism in sports, NASCAR stood for quite a while as the lone holdout, the one major American sporting institution, term used loosely, that still understood who their fans were and what those fans wanted. And one thing they didn't want, and still don't want, is a bunch of goddamn annoying race politics being shoved down their throats by vapid, joyless, sanctimonious, insufferably self-righteous, woke, race huckstering hall monitor types. You can watch the other sports leagues, term used loosely, if you want all that stuff, but not NASCAR. We don't do that here. We still remember that respect for the paying customer is our number one job. And that lasted for a while, until it didn't. Because we're just not allowed to have nice things anymore. I mean, to the extent that stock car racing can ever be a nice thing. But these last few years, really ever since the fentanyl-induced martyrdom of the exalted George Floyd, patron saint of middle-aged, drug-addicted career criminals who pistol-whip pregnant women during home invasion robberies, NASCAR leadership has really started getting the memo about the pressing need for constant woke virtue signaling in every single sector of society and in the everyday life of every single American, including people who just want to watch their favorite sport, term used loosely. But since they got that memo, NASCAR leadership has been working tirelessly to catch up for lost time and presumably pump up their ESG score nice and high. And so when Bubba Wallace, the world's number one black stock car driving race hoaxer, announced that the string on his garage door at the racetrack was really a racist hate crime, NASCAR had his back. They were down for the struggle, baby. And so before the next race, every driver was forced to engage in the sort of metaphoric public racial self-flagellation that's become so very fashionable since the start of this decade. The kneeling and the rending of garments and the gnashing of teeth and the promises to do better and check my privilege at the door, the whole 9 yards of performative wokesterism. And the FBI had Bubba Wallace's back too, by God, as evidenced by the fact that within 12 hours of the news breaking that there was a piece of string on a garage door in Alabama, Chris Ray parachuted in a 12-agent rapid response hate crime unit into Talladega to investigate at great expense to you and me, the American taxpayer, why some evil, hateful, bigoted monster would put a piece of string on a garage door. But for the galaxy brains in the NASCAR leadership, this embarrassing spectacle didn't go nearly far enough. They said, you know what? We need some other way of showing our paying customers just how much unbridled antipathy and contempt we feel toward them, and of showing the rest of the world just how little respect we have for ourselves. So we need to think of some other, even more obnoxious way of shaking our woke, virtuous tail feathers and showing just how 100% on board we are with every form of cloying, radical leftist dog shit buffoonery. And then it hit them. The big epiphany, like a bolt from the blue. I know, they said. What if we started banning drivers for liking memes on Instagram? And then everybody else in the boardroom stands up and starts rapturously applauding like it's a Saddam Hussein speech to the Iraqi parliament in 1983. Bravo, sir! Best idea ever! You really hit it out of the park with that one. So yeah, some driver named Noah Gragson has now been suspended indefinitely by NASCAR for clicking like on a meme that was insufficiently reverent towards St. George Floyd, who is part of the official trinity of our new state religion, where it used to be the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Now it is climate change, transgenderism, and George Floyd. Criticize any one of them, even implicitly, even obliquely, even by liking a meme, and your life is basically ruined. And do I have any empathy for this dude? Nope, because he has chosen the path of groveling like a bitch and bowing to the woke rage mob. But you know what I want to really know? I want to know how many full-time operatives does the woke rage mob have that they have time to go through the Instagram feeds of every NASCAR driver, writing down all the memes they liked? I feel like that person should look for a better job, is all I'm saying.